finally, we're getting
Totally
into the
where
end
it's
game
at right
now.
here.
Yeah, man. Like,
Oh yeah, let's
when I was young,
upgrade some
I
shit, I
used to look
guess.
at reviews in Game Informer. I think that's. I think ever since I stopped reading Game Informer when I was like 12 or something, 13. I think
Oh
13.
yeah, I need to blow up
That's when I
people's
stopped
shit so they
listening
can
to reviews.
rebuild too. At that phase of life.
Yeah, I definitely remember. For me, it was like in the like G4 days. For those of you, for anybody out there who doesn't remember, it actually is a substantial amount of time ago now. I used to have G4 was a TV station that was only video game talk. And they had a ton of review shows and stuff, and they mostly weren't very good.
Skimpy girls, I remember.
Yeah, like real mean people too. Like it was the strangest thing.
Why put a fire out with water when you
just
can
put it out with lightning?
Build a new mall.
It was really strange too, because they would have like the reviews were still really stilted, but it seemed like they were always trying to like put out some venom so as to keep like the semblance of integrity. So they would be like, this game is blah blah. What was the point of it? Like really like go hard on random
what?
games, but then still just suck the dick of just really trash AAA games that would come out. It's a very strange tone, but I guess that's kind of still what Game Informer does, right? Like they still sort of just trash on games that can't defend themselves and then say that anything AAA is good.
Game Informer did that a couple of times, but I remember so many times Game Informer said about a game, and they like whiffled it. Like, hey, this one page, Monster Hunter. It's a new game that's coming out. Give it a try. It was such a lackluster review, and that stayed in my head the moment Monster Hunter came up again. I was like, oh my god, this is the game I saw a review of like 5 years ago as a child. Sadly, it was James pitching it, so he's like, yeah, what's Monster Hunter about? You pick herbs and stuff. So I almost completely passed on it. Luckily, you were like, whoa, Christian, hold on. I know you're walking out of the bar with your pants down, but give it another try.
One of the funny things I remember, just because we're just kind of talking our way through this, there was this really interesting thing that most people are aware of, but it is a fascinating moment in gaming culture for me. You know how sometimes something is interesting because people are interested in it? You're like, how is anyone surprised that this happened? Oh wait, that's really the world we live in. You kind of like step out of the matrix for a moment. And there was this like a controversy a few years ago about this sort of like uncovering of the fact that like most game reviewers were like getting paid off by game companies, and there was a lot of like politics going on who got good reviews and who didn't. And it was a huge deal, which is so silly because like how it baffles me that there was anyone in the world who assumed that wasn't true. It's bizarre to me to think that anyone would if you've read Game Informer, it's terrible. It's not good media. Like even a lot of like
fools 12-year-olds.
Yeah, it's literally there to remind you games exist. The reviews are basically meaningless. They don't carry any weight, and that's true for most like big companies that talk about games. Like they don't give you objective information. They don't even seem to really care
Game
to
Informer
try to.
is car magazines for children.
That's a great description of it. Yeah, like the information in it doesn't matter. It just contains the thing you like, so you can read it.
Yeah,
it's a like an industry
newspaper.
like an industry magazine. Yeah, newspapers are gonna like you read
A
about it.
biased one.
Yeah, you read it to just keep up with what's going on, not because the information in it is reliable or trustworthy.
Oh, Corey, you just missed out on the chance to see what Frost Girl's bonus to Towers is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Next time.
Well, we'll learn another.
If we make it that
who
far.
cares?
Yeah, we'll learn when she has. I don't know. Yeah, it can't be better than attack speed.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Everybody busts out the Gatling guns. I have more faith in this.
Have you noticed the music? It's actually kind of funnier.
Yeah. This is it's classic.
Man, I wish we had this on the whole time. I would have been a lot more into it.
Oh, they're just gonna rock around and destroy houses.
Yup.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, are they gonna break all the fucking workshops?
No, there's a house over there it was killing.
I have a theory. I have a theory about this game. I think that it was designed. I think that in its development, it was designed to be a cell phone game. I think it was designed to be that.
Ooh, that would be
And at a
fun.
certain point, it was like retooled for a full release. Or maybe it was designed to be a full release that could play on a cell phone.
Yeah.
But so
sounds
much of this makes me think of a cheap cell phone game that
Yeah,
like
and I
that
I mean,
would
we both
explain
played
to
a lot
me
of them,
why so much of this is why it's so simplistic, why there's so little to interact with. Like most of it is just tapping and moving around and tap over here to do this and tap. Like
zero rendering.
the rendering's really low. Yeah, everything's cut out instead of like
Yeah.
these are 3D models you could have put on a PlayStation 2. So why go through the trouble of not having them actually rendered in any meaningful way? And that would be because you want it to run on softer hardware. You could run this game on a fucking calculator, which is, you know, an iPhone. So why not?
I've seen better visual effects in Doom.
Yeah, well, I mean, Doom looks great. Part of the
Yeah.
problem, but
It does.
dude, that's a whole nother thing. That's effort. That's how effort beats
All
technology.
right, better effects in Lethal Weapon. Sega Genesis. Better.
Yeah, that's much better. Well, I mean, same idea, because they worked harder. It's not
I
about
know.
the technology available.
push
It's
it too
it's
hard,
about
eh?
working. It's about putting
They-
the time in and
too
giving a
hard.
shit about what you make. Not that the people who made this were completely disconnected, but like
Wow.
clearly
Oh.
they're. Oh, that was the fucking condition.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I couldn't let him die.
Why was that the
Danielle,
thing?
Jamal,
Oh, any of them.
Jamal,
No,
or-
just the two
Yeah, they're
people you
just
start
those
with.
two.
Danielle, or
50% of
50%
homes
of
are
the
destroyed.
Jesus
Oh my god, that's
Jesus.
so.
This song is yeah.
Yeah, this song's way better. I really like it.
This makes me smile.
Oh.
What an instant improvement.
No, I'm sorry we missed this out the whole time.
Yeah, I can't believe I talked such venom about this good game.
This is quality. The quality.
It's amazing how you can be blinded by listening to garbage music. No.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. It's like one-sided, like, oh well, it's nostalgically like made on a keyboard, so it's funnier. This music's making me smile, and also like, yes, I remember that this is the sound of 1998 fear for me. I don't know when this was made, but these are the sounds I heard when I was like, this is a tough fight. I hope I can make it. Even I.
It makes me think of like a climactic fight in like a tactics game where they have this like extremely escalated music, but you know it takes like an hour and a half. So it's just the like for like an hour and a half it's
I'm getting like ghouls and goblins stress.
yeah, ghouls and goblins. One of the most stressful games of all fucking time. That is kind of what it makes me think of. Yeah, real interesting. Getting this with the different music is much better.
Do you remember the first time you heard a game review and you were like disjointed as a child, like, and you like the first time you said, "That's fucking bullshit."
Oh, I'm sure I can come up with one. I assume you have one, because he asked. Let me think for a second.
Yeah, I have one. Like,
Oh, please.
You know,
While I
but
think.
it's previous, like not like the first one. I don't remember the first one, but I remember the most current one I remember was someone playing like the new the 4-player Mario game that's like Mario the Part 2 remade or something. And the guy's like, "Oh, this game is awful." Blah, 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 blah. He's down talking the whole time. And he's like, "But anyway, the summary is it was good. It was awful and all that, but you know, it was a good game. 4 out of 5."
Dude, that's the fucking God, who is there's a company that's famous for doing that. I wish I could remember who it was off the top. Me and Baron used to make that joke all the time. I know the gameplay's shit and I don't like the story. Hey, the controls are really weird. It's super buggy, but yeah, you know, 7 out of 10, something for everyone. Just like they end every fucking review with something for everyone. Yeah, that shit's annoying. I actually also had a lot of gripes with people. I played that. I didn't know that game existed until I was at a friend's house, and they were like, "You want to play this? It's fucking Super Mario Bros. Weird remake, but it's 4-player and you can like bump into each other and it's like kind of crap, but it's crap in a way that's super fun. Like it's like Gauntlet kind of shitty where it's like you can work together and have fun. Everything that goes wrong is because there's 4 of us, and just sitting down and playing it was a really good time. I was like, man, this game, I don't really like Mario that much. I had a great fucking time with this weird ass game. And then yeah, people are just Mario, whatever, stupid. It's Mario with 4 players. What's the point? Why is it 3D? Mario's 2D and blah blah blah. Just a lot of like really weird gripes. But like, I understand a lot of the complaints, but it's like at the end of the day, did you have fun playing it? Is like it's its own category, right? You're like, what are the graphics? How's the story? How were the controls? But there should always be this like kind of X factor. Like if you're doing an 8, an out of 10 scale, like 3 stars should just be, how did I personally feel playing this game? Like that, if everything in the game is good, but you just didn't have a good time with it, that should be a 7 out of 10. Like
Game Informer had a scale like that. They had like a graphics grade, this grade. They had the overall grade, and then they had the playability grade.
Why isn't it healing my wizard?
Because she sucks. Oh, by the way, sorry for the audience. The capture's being real wiggy right now. I don't know why, but I can't fix it, and nothing interesting's happening. That's like the worst reason to have a technical difficulty. I won't fix it because this doesn't matter.
I love it.
It just saves us from having a cut. Just bear with us.
No worries,
It'll calm down. I literally think it's just this area has so much like stuff going on that it's very taxing.
Water and poopy and stuff.
Poopy and so much Duke.
I remember the reason why I never played that Mario game was because that like someone was just like walking by and there's this I think I saw a review from a different reviewer guy like, I don't like people reviewing things and calling everything Dark Souls like, and he just went through a montage of like this game, it's very Dark Souls like showing teacup to kettle game. It's like, this is very Dark Souls, and it's turning to Mario. Like, yeah, it's very the Dark Souls of Mario games.
Yeah, that did become its own like
strange world.
Weird category. Like everything difficult is like Dark Souls like.
Oh, I think it was Mandalore Gaming reviewing like the original Dark Souls game. Like it's a game where you play in a tower, but you're not actually like.
Talk about Kingsfield.
No. Kind of. It's same makers, but instead of Dark Souls and Kingsfield, you're in this giant tower, or you're going through a cave and you have a pistol.
Huh. Why? What makes it the first Dark Souls game?
It might be made by this. I can't remember the name of the game, but it's made by the
from Soft.
Yeah, and it functions weirdly. You kind of a tanky-like controls, but you have a dagger and a pistol. And when you're fighting enemies, you can shoot off their limbs, so they have less options to attack you. And you're just finding random loot, armor and stuff and things, and you're just going through the game like it's Dark Souls. It's a very, very cute game. I'm sorry I don't have the name to go hunt it.
No, I get you. I just always wonder, like, I've heard a lot of people say that, like, yeah, this is like the original Dark Souls. Like, in what way? And they're like, well,
you travel through a dungeon alone. The first person you meet, they die. You start off with a piece of shit weapon, and you slowly upgrade, like, very clearly. And you're just fighting just certain things. You're like, oh, skeleton, oh, zombie, oh, like slime, oh, and you're just going through this lonely journey by yourself, eventually fighting waves of things, but it's just slightly different because you have a gun. But without the gun, you'd be like, oh yeah, this could comfortably be the predecessor, because you're wearing armor, helmets, you're just gearing up. And what like the main reason I love Dark Souls a good amount of it is the sole ability to go, yeah, sure, I'm a wizard, but I'm wearing armor right now. Why? Because there's arrows raining and shit. Don't ask me.
You know, it's such a bummer that that's something you have to look for, because it's something that games took away from you.
Yeah.
That used to be just normal. That was taken from you. And it's like 60 frames per second. People brag about. You used to have that. Every game used to be 60 frames per second. That was stolen, and then now people are like excited to have it. They got fucking nuke-coked. Yeah, because what I was gonna say, I feel like it's like a real broad category, but most people say the first quote unquote Souls is Kingsfield because it's the first game that company made. But
The one with the tank-like movements and the slow attack speed, and there's I believe you have instead of a stamina bar, you have this refilling attack gauge, which is incredibly slow.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I believe the game I'll talk about, it's also made by the same, by FromSoft. I think it's after Kingsfield, so yeah, it would
probably Kingsfield. There was like 3 Kingsfield games before they made anything else. And then they didn't get what's his name who actually made Demon Souls didn't come around for like 20 fucking years. They made a million games.
What was he busy on? Was it Bloodborne?
Who, that guy? He was nothing. He was busy being like an intern or something.
Oh, he just like made Demon Souls, and they're like, we will never talk about him again. But look, the person that paid him.
What?
So the guy that made Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Like, did he ever come back in on any of these things? I never really looked at it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all the other Souls games.
Oh, all right.
Wait, hang on. What do you mean? Like?
Yeah.
Are you asking if he was involved in like Dark Souls 2 and 3 and?
Yeah,
all the time.
Okay.
Well, he wasn't involved in Dark Souls 2, which is why everybody says it's fake.
Bitched and moaned. Yeah. Was he
Yeah.
involved in Bloodborne?
Yeah.
All right.
I
was told, but I never really, triple checked.
It is the best one.
Yeah.
And it was done by one of the directors of Dark Souls 1. People just pretend like that's not true.
Not enough. It's not the original.
He's the guy that mattered. The guy who designed every monster and end level layout.
More impressively, he took that game and it came off as a completely different island. It felt like a good part 2.
It did,
It felt like a part 2 in a different land, Dragon Quest style.
Yeah, everything a good sequel should be.
Yeah.
Different
person.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I don't know.
Could you imagine Metroid, the Metroid game series, where instead of playing Samus, you played as a different dude that was kind of like, reminiscent of her.
Yeah,
but like
that would be amazing.
Because that would make sense.
I wish in all my heart that other Metroid games you played as different people, just so I could see. Like, I wish like Metroid, Samus. Metroid 2, different person. Metroid 3, different person. Super Nintendo, Super Metroid comes back, Samus again, core character. We want to see what she's up to, and then I want to fuck around with other. I want to play a game where I'm just the space pirates. I want to be one of those fucking aliens. I want to be one of the cool Chozo bird people. I want to see all this cool shit. I love Samus, but that's a big universe that seems like it has only her and pirates in it.
Because what would perfectly work for her is Samus. You've done the world. It's part 2. Okay, fine. Samus again. Part 3. Samus is a venerable general and her mercenary crew. She sends someone else to a planet. She's busy fighting Galacticon, And then later on, part 4, Samus is back. Her people's been wiped. Her armor is shattered. She's walking around with like one arm completely exposed, and that's why she's all gimped out. Good explanations of why she lost everything.
Yeah.
Not every episode is she's God of War, and then she's like, the gods took my family, and they're like, Kratos.
If at the end of God of War you just had to fight Samus, I would take back 20 years that I've spent blasting God of War for the fucking.
Don't talk about it.
It's just like, it's an effort thing, right? Like. Yeah. And again, I don't know the intention of the people who made it, but I definitely know how much they put into it, whether it was their own fault or not. Like,
what, dollars?
Dollars.
I'm sorry. Well, that's effort.
Yeah. Well, they're very similar. Like, they come down to a lot of the same factors. Dollars is a perfectly fine. If you're someone who is hired to make this game and they're like, we're going to pay you for 9 hours of work when it needs 18, you can only do half the work. You do the half that makes the most sense to get done, and that's it. That's your effort. It doesn't mean you didn't work the shit out of those 9 hours, but you needed 18. Like, you're not going to do a bunch of work you didn't get paid for, nor should you, unless you're working on a project of your own that you care about and love. But, like, so if the studio gave a shit enough, the game would be better. But even if they did, like, committing to these weird graphical choices is a really big deal, because it shows that lack of dissonance means the art director didn't really give a shit. It's like, yeah, just put the things together that, that get the game accomplished. Like, so many of these graphics look like stand-ins. Like, the 3D models look like the 3D models you make for your test version of the game before you make the actual creature that's supposed to go
you buy
there.
off a blender.
Yeah, like really simple stuff like that. So like, if the effort had been there, they would have looked nice. Not because they're 3D or not 3D or because they're funky, but because somebody would have actually given a shit and put the time in, you know?
Oh, you know what I just realized? Final Fantasy VII, that little mini game we keep talking about, they use the same art. They used the same art style of a 3D model on a paper Korra cutout, and they just animated it walking around.
Yeah, that game from the PlayStation 1 era had the exact same amount of effort put into it.
The mini game. But like,
so
if all the characters in that mini game were in this world, like all weird shaped, like we are square people and we're the triangle people, wouldn't you have been instantly heartwarmed?
That would have made me bad. That would have been better, yeah. What's
Like
up, Corey?
just to give you guys an update on the story, so the
Oh, yeah,
samurai chick.
Hang on, let's tune back in. Let me write the time down, and then you can
Oh.
catch us up on what we missed. It has been like a fucking hour of absolutely, like, basically just build a town and shit's happening. Corey, please bring us in.
Yeah.
Me and Christian have just been shooting the breeze while we waited for something to go
Building an
on.
hour and
So
bad
the
ideas.
only interesting thing I thought I would say that you thought, well, the cowboy guy's mapping out the territory, and then the samurai lady, we went in a battle with the enemies, and like, the angel was like, why aren't you fighting with your full spirit, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I don't know if these things are even that evil, kind of. Like, they have the same spirit and energy as the Lord, not Tanzara. These don't feel like Tanzara demons. I don't sense, like, that same evil and taint off them. And they just like, that can't be true, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know, man, I'm a samurai. I know what I've sensing and feeling. And these don't feel like, they don't feel like Tanzara's minions. They're monsters, but I don't know, you know, I don't feel as cool about killing them. It's like, that's interesting.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting to bring
Yeah.
up 15
Yeah.
hours in. Just in time. What? To destroy another monster. Okay.
Yeah.
That is interesting, though. I wonder how far we are away from, like, the final horde and whatever's gonna...
You liar.
God, I hope at the end of this you just have to, like, kill yourself. Like, you're the last boss.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be so weird. It might actually bring me around a little bit. If it just had an insane, like, fourth wall breaking, like, weird...
Uh-oh.
Who
Watch out
knows?
for Lotus. He's trying to form stronger bonds with Shamal. King
Yeah.
Alexander all over again.
Thank God, it's
Trying
about time.
Be friends.
Yeah, look at them traveling together. Oh,
We didn't
Trying to
do...
be-
I just realized that all of these characters interact basically only with the people in their town and your cherub. So why... They had... God, no, let me take this back. I'm glad it was this way because I don't want to listen to more hacky dialogue. But there was an
You just had it just
opportunity to have them, like...
Throughout the whole story.
Yeah,
Oh.
be characters that interact with each other in a way and, like, could see kind of the way that sort of their opinions and backstories affect each other. But none of them had those things, so it doesn't matter.
In a
yeah.
different world
Once again,
where
the
this
game
wasn't
itself
Actraiser.
ignored logic on what was going. It ignored its own gameplay.
Yeah.
People were like, "There's no evidence of God." At points, I'm like, "You guys literally prayed for a thing, and I shot lightning everywhere."
Instantly.
Like, there is nothing
so
but
much
proof.
proof. Yeah, this is no one in this world. Like, they literally shouldn't use the word faith. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how this works.
Weird.
It's basically science.
Truth is the word.
Yeah, truth is the word. Absolutely, you are not a god of faith. You don't need people to, like, philosophize about you. You're fucking there. They're up above right now watching you do this.
Yeah.
There's no guesswork involved. You are definitely
Man.
there. How do
Could you
people have...
imagine that?
What's that?
Could you imagine that being a person? And like, please God, and you see a ball of light drop down, and you see a statue just not even look at you, just flash off in this after image of speed, and just you just hear screaming in the tunnels. No sound, you don't hear your God saying, you just hear goblins going, "What? No, this is my home!" Ah! You hear, like, burning light.
It's the
You
sound
hear,
of thunder and fire.
But every time he swings his sword, it's a hymn.
And then there's people going, "I don't know about this master."
It took 6 different regions to someone to go, "Hey, like, I bet we could prove God's real right now. God, could you just? I know you say no, don't test you, but like, it would really do to stop people from stealing ever again if you just lightning bolt right now." Like,
And then you
make
did
God
it.
or light- Yeah, and then he did it, and it was like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. Here's your money back. Please don't kill everyone. I'm sorry I spanked it to that
Dude,
stuff.
I want to hear the like on the ground dialogue with fucking Captain Cowboy Teenage Clint Eastwood. Wait, like he's there and he's like, I don't know about all this religion. I ain't in it. I don't know about your space magic force. I'm like Han Solo if I was written by a 10-year-old. And you're angels in the sky slaying demons and throwing lightning. He walks into a temple and your angel comes through in a beam of light. He's like, hi, I'm here from fucking God. And I'm here to tell you, what do you people need? And they're like, it's a desert. We need rain. He's like, you fucking got it. And rose his hands to the sky. And from your giant stone castle in the sky, rains came. And he was like, yeah, but like, I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for all that. Like, are you shitting me? For absolute real, you could make like 60% of that and say that they're like things in the spiritual world or like analogies or whatever. But your angel was there, spoke to him in person, they called for rain, and it happened. And he's like, nah.
No,
He still had to be convinced that there was a deity.
Like,
Hell?
did you do magic for him?
No, he just eventually was like, I guess you're real.
Yeah.
He just slowly gave in. He was like a guy that dug his heels in too early in an argument, but he was like so inconceivably wrong that he had to keep like slowly moving the goalposts until he was essentially agreeing with you.
I bet it was kind of like it was probably because unlike at the 6 area, they're like, yo, God's completely real. You can't prove it. No, we asked him to find someone, and then 10 days later, we found him. He was dead in the sand, but you see how that sounds totally legit?
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm like, well, what about, like, God's not real. Remember the time it rained? Oh, how long? We asked him to rain, and then what? A month later.
Yeah,
right
okay.
on only this spot.
Hang on, though. No, your people asked for rain. They were like, the desert's too hot. And you rained them an oasis, and then terraformed the entire... Every spot in the desert got exactly enough rain to not be a desert anymore in perfect sequence.
Yeah, he wasn't there. Wait, he was there in the beginning, wasn't he? Yeah, he was totally there in the beginning.
Even if he
That's just
wasn't, when people described that, he'd probably be like, that's kind of a story. But in his heart, he'd have to be like, that's a hell of a story.
Yeah, he'd be like, no,
I know
the
this
ground-
was a desert before.
He comes from a land with guns, so he's like, they just don't understand the science and
How
hard
does he
work.
come from? I'm mad that still hasn't been...
Don't question it.
It's not even a
Space
gun, it's just
gun?
like a pipe. Remember, we learned he just loads one bullet into it at a
Right,
time.
right, I forgot. It's actually a wand.
It's actually just a bullet wand.
It's a wand
The
that casts
deadliest
iron.
of wands.